Yeah, Radiance Holdings is a collection of franchise brands in the beauty and wellness sector. And we focus on franchising as a way to scale the brands in the beauty space and create opportunities for the entrepreneurs who want to own and operate businesses in beauty and wellness. So if you're familiar at all with franchising, it's essentially a way for people to go in business for themselves without having to be by themselves while they do it. So we sell the concept to them so that they can launch the business out in their own markets. And we train them on how to then train their teams and sort of propagate a culture. And we saw an opportunity to build this platform back in 2019 when we were looking at what was going on in the beauty and wellness space and all the trends that were happening there. I had been brought in to lead Sola Salon Studios, which is our flagship brand. And that brand is one that doesn't actually provide haircuts. It provides studio space to independent hairstylists and other beauty professionals who want to launch an independent career. And that brand was so strong in its own right and helped us to understand so much about the beauty sector that we realized that, making purchases in beauty and spa, there was a lot of transferable skills that could happen with that. And it sort of becomes the, 1 + 1 = 5 when you're able to provide the resources across all of the brands within a platform. The second brand we purchased, we actually did in the midst of the pandemic in 2020. We purchased the Woodhouse Day Spas, which is an amazing brand in its own right. It is a brand that was founded out of Victoria, Texas, and was providing these luxury spa experiences in markets that were more suburban type markets. And that vision really was attractive to us because, again, it was very premier in its space and provided some leadership around that aspect of it and got us a little more exposure to spa professionals, which are folks that, we don't see as well represented at Sola. Sola's still about probably 85-90% hair. And those other markets are starting to grow within the Sola system.
And Christina, you have a unique vantage point as the CEO of a company that has both Sola salons and Woodhouse Day Spa. I think there's a big correlation with self-care in both of those concepts, whether it's going to get your hair done or another service done by a stylist, or certainly by going to a spa and getting a massage or facial. As you look at the wellness landscape today, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges that women are facing as it relates to their health and wellness?
It's such an interesting thing because we see it from all the different angles because our employees at our spas, are largely female population in spa. And certainly in the hairstyling industry, a lot of women represented there. And managing all of that through COVID and hearing about the stress and the fear and all of the things that were going through it, you realize that even the professionals in this industry are experiencing what is driving the consumer demand, which I believe is primarily the stress of the way that we live our lives in America, and particularly women. So I believe in the beauty and wellness industry, what women are looking to do, and I think people in general, because we're seeing an increasing number of men in our businesses, they're looking to invest in themselves. And beauty isn't just about beauty anymore. It's about a way of de-stressing, of really connecting in a different way. And certainly in the spa world, this is the biggest trend that we see there.
And Christina, with the onset of the pandemic, I think we all had to shelter at home and couldn't go out and get our hair done or go to and have a nice spa experience. Would it be safe to say, now that things have stabilized, that you've seen kind of a return to historical rates of attendance and visitation by guests to your facilities, or maybe even an increase beyond what you saw in 2019?
It amazes even us. I mean, we expected to come out of the pandemic strong because we knew, certainly in the hairstyling world, we were all eager to get back to the salon and actually go get our hair done by a professional again. But it was amazing to us just to see the influx of independent beauty pros, because many of the smaller salons had gone out of business. And they were looking for ways to really protect their careers and to bring their clients with them. So our occupancy at Sola across all 610 locations right now hovers in the mid-90s. And it essentially means we're full. And that is exciting to us because not only does that talk about, sort of the health of that industry, but it talks about the health of the beauty professionals within it. And that's a big priority for us. On the Woodhouse side, we wondered about this because of the challenges of finding spa professionals, but we have a little bit of an edge in the luxury space because obviously our price points are higher, our pay is a little higher. We're looking for a little bit more sophisticated spa and hospitality professionals there. And they really have doubled down on their service and are really excited to be back to work again. And we're feeling that the customers are super excited to be back in spa. It was a huge December for us in terms of gift card sales. So I think many people were giving the gift of de-stress and health and, investment in oneself as a Christmas gift. And then in January, when folks came in, many times they were bringing friends with them. They were upgrading their services to, a little bit more premier services and really making that investment in themselves. And so both businesses have grown solidly year over year when we were comping against 2019 across 2021. And this year, coming out of the gate with Q1, we're seeing that same trend. Right now, Sola is tracking close to 10% year over year, and the Woodhouse is 35% year over year same store sales. And so you think about what that means, and it means the customers are back and they're excited and they're really wanting to engage in those services.
I guess as it relates to wellness, do you think this is something that's affecting the broader consumer? Do you think there are an early set of adopters? How broad has this definition of wellness gone with the broader consumer population?
I think it's reaching really only its first inning right now. And you think about how the trends have changed even for women of my generation. 20 years ago, it was very hush hush about Botox. Nobody talked about it, like we're not going to do it. Now people are, having their Instagram moment in their med spa, talking about their Botox, talking about their injections and their lip flips and all the things that they like to invest in. And so you see this sort of difference in mindset around it. And I think the last 2 years of staring at ourselves, just like we're doing today, Lauren, on Zoom, you're looking at your own face and you're thinking about, maybe I need to invest a little more here or there. And I think it becomes less about vanity and more about well-being and thinking about best self and how you want to. The other thing I will say that is interesting is the trend towards retail has been really fascinating. And, certainly in the high-end skincare market, it's amazing to me how everyone is investing now. So it's important to us to carry multiple price points of products in spa. And you see this even in the luxury spas today. So if you go to places like the Four Seasons, they'll often have multiple price points of skincare lines that they carry in their lobby. And the estheticians are trained well to really provide the right advice to the client so that she can enter that market at whatever, price range is comfortable for her. And I use a lot of she, but you're starting to see a trend where there's a lot more men coming into our spaces and they're interested in those same retail lines as well. And many of our spas now carry lines that are geared specifically towards men because so many men are showing an interest in this, and there's a little bit different perspective on what they're looking. I also think you're going to see a much more educated consumer, and it's something that we've had to really, rise to that challenge. You've got to keep up with the consumer today. So even on things like skincare lines, they're very well educated about, what, the industry calls the dirty dozen, the ingredients that are banned in Europe that we still allow here in the US that really shouldn't be showing up in skincare lines. And so we've had to go back as we've done our menu and look at where do we have, hits and misses on that? And, what are we doing to make sure that we're getting that dirty dozen out of all of our lines and really holding our vendors accountable for that?
I guess last question around what's next for Radiance. You touched upon all of the trends you're monitoring, how the businesses have evolved since the start of COVID and through COVID. Any other nuggets of things or highlights that you're looking forward to the rest of this year?
Yeah, for us, it's really about growth, Lauren. When you stand up a platform like ours, part of the reason for doing that is to really be able to nurture growth in every direction. And so we look at the lateral growth. We're certainly interested in acquiring more brands in the beauty space and really building out that platform. We're actively looking in med spa and wax and, a lot of other modalities of beauty. And then for us, being focused on franchising, where we live, eat, and breathe is in the success of our franchisees. And so we're super excited about the same store growth that I mentioned earlier. because that speaks to their success. And so a lot of the work that our teams do as we build them out is supporting the franchisees to really build the business in their markets so that we're successful. And then beyond that, it's really growing the number of units in each brand. So Sola today has 610 units. The Woodhouse is about 75. Sola grows at a rate of about 60 a year. Woodhouse will be about 10 to 15 once we get that fully ramped up. But that growth, I think, is what allows us to take these products and services out to markets and frankly, to create jobs for beauty professionals. And that's going to be a big focus, I think, for all of us at Radiance this year, is really looking at how can we reach out to these young people that are trying to think about, what career path they want to take and how they want to live their lives. And I think this next generation is prioritizing that quality of life so much more than our prior generations did.